Oh boy, things just got spicy in the world of women's basketball. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's rising star, has had enough and is firing shots at ESPN for their less than flattering comments. But hey, before we dive into this mess, like and subscribe to the channel, because let's be real, you don't want to miss out on this tea. All right, let's break it down.
The fans haven't forgotten. Clark's been on fire.
Molly Karam from ESPN really stirred the pot when she implied that Caitlin Clark is more of a marketing gimmick than an actual talent. What?
ESPN First Takes analyst Molly Karam is catching major heat from Caitlin, a mockery. And if that wasn't enough,
Now WNBA fans, analysts, and players are coming out of the woodwork like, did she just say that? The backlash is real, folks. But don't worry, while the internet's losing its mind, Clark's out here letting her game do the talking. Triple doubles, game winners. Yeah, we're pretty sure she's got this covered. Stick around as we unpack this wild ride and see who's really making a mockery of women's basketball.
this year Molly went all in, backing Team USA's call.
Spoiler, it's not Caitlin Clark. I honestly can't figure out what's going on in the heads of these WNBA analysts. Do they get paid extra to have terrible opinions, or is it just a job requirement at ESPN?
That wasn't enough. She claimed Clark wasn't on the same level as the players who made the cut.
Molly Karam, one of ESPN's well-known hosts, managed to ignite a firestorm in the sports world with her wild take on Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest up-and-coming stars in women's basketball. Her comments were so outrageous that they not only made fans furious,
Daughter, the rating, everyone.
She's been that.
Caitlin Clark, like no matter what, America.
but also triggered a massive debate about how female athletes, especially in the WNBA, are treated and analyzed by the media. Karam essentially hinted that players like Caitlin Clark, despite pulling in huge audiences, were somehow making a mockery of women's basketball. Yes, you read that right. According to her, Clark's popularity was more of a marketing gimmick than an actual reflection of her talent. This hot take went down about as well as a lead balloon, and the reaction was swift. Fans, analysts, and players alike were all up in arms, saying that downplaying someone as talented as Clark was not just unfair, but completely clueless. In a league where athletes have to constantly prove themselves, discrediting someone like Clark felt like a slap in the face. The whole situation sparked a conversation about the obvious biases that plague sports commentary, especially when it comes to covering women's sports. Maybe next time, these analysts should try watching the game before forming opinions. Just a thought. Caitlin Clark burst onto the scene during her college basketball career, leaving jaws on the floor with her stellar play. She didn't just show up to play, she dominated, becoming a household name not only for her ridiculous scoring ability, but for her sharp basketball brain, insane playmaking, and that I got this leadership style. At the University of Iowa, Clark didn't just lead her team to victories. She practically had the team on her back, setting records like she was collecting them as souvenirs. With her ability to sink three-pointers from what seemed like another zip code, and her knack for making her teammates look even better, she was nothing short of a walking highlight reel. Naturally, people started comparing her to some of the legends of women's basketball.
Hot takes on this news, but Molly Karam, who is not much of a fan of Caitlin,
And it felt like a no-brainer that she'd immediately make waves in the WNBA. But, of course, life isn't all smooth sailing. Despite her incredible college career, Clark found herself under fire from parts of the sports media. Cue Molly Karam's eyebrow-raising comments. Karam basically claimed that Clark's popularity was more about her marketability than her on-court talent. According to Karam, Clark was attracting attention for all the wrong reasons, making it sound like her fans were following a TikTok star rather than a basketball phenom. She even went as far as saying that Clark's presence in the WNBA was, well, kind of a joke, as if she wasn't good enough to be considered among the best. But here's the thing, Caitlin Clark didn't even blink. While all this drama was happening, she kept breaking records and kept making jaws drop. She let her game do the talking. And spoiler alert, it had a lot to say. Clark has this classy, almost unbothered queen vibe, as if she's too busy making no-look passes to care about what analysts are saying. If anything, she's out there proving the doubters wrong, one three-pointer at a time. Caitlin Clark's dedication and hard work got tossed aside like yesterday's leftovers with some pretty harsh comments, especially from a big name in sports media. For a young star like Clark, who's proven herself time and time again, hearing this kind of public criticism must have been like getting benched right after scoring a game winner. But it wasn't just a personal dig. Karam's comments pointed to a bigger problem. Some media personalities seem to have a knack for downplaying the achievements of female athletes, even when they're out there breaking records and smashing expectations. One of Karam's wild takes was that Clark was drawing attention to the WNBA without really adding much to the game.
Stephen A is about to drop a truth bomb that'll shake up the whole debate. Ready to see how it all goes down?
What? Not only is that completely off the mark, it also misses the bigger picture of how players like Clark are helping the league grow. The WNBA has had a tough time drawing the same attention as the NBA, not because of any lack of talent, but more due to societal biases and the fact that media coverage is often MIA. So when someone like Caitlin Clark starts bringing new fans to the league, you'd think people would see that as a good thing, right? Her on-court talent and off-court appeal are exactly what the WNBA needs to keep growing. But Karam seemed to frame it like Clark's ability to attract viewers was somehow a bad thing, as if she were cheapening the game by making people actually watch it. Newsflash, in professional sports, more eyes on the game is what keeps the lights on. If Caitlin Clark is bringing in more fans while still playing at an elite level, she's basically giving the WNBA a much-needed boost. Another part of Karam's criticism that really ruffled feathers was her take on Clark being left off Team USA. Even with an impressive college career and undeniable skills, Clark wasn't chosen to represent the US in international play. While a lot of fans were scratching their heads, Karam seemed pretty pleased about it. Meanwhile, Clark, ever the class act, took it in stride, acknowledging how tough it is to make the Olympic team and promising to keep working hard for a shot at the 2028 roster. Talk about staying cool under pressure. Clark's already winning with that attitude. Caitlin Clark's exclusion from Team USA was backed by Karam, who argued that Clark wasn't up to par for international play. This reasoning left a lot of people scratching their heads, especially since Clark dominated the NCAA like it was her personal playground. Saying someone of Clark's caliber wasn't good enough felt less like a critique and more like a glitch in the matrix. On top of that, Karam's public celebration of Clark being left out seemed a bit like kicking someone when they're down, especially when that someone is already fighting for recognition in the pros. But as they say in sports, the best way to deal with critics is to let your game do the talking, and Clark's game has been downright chatty. Despite being snubbed from Team USA and Karam's harsh words,
I felt like those numbers were a little harsh. I mean, they're accurate, Monica.
Clark didn't need to clap back on social media or get into any drama. She let her WNBA performances do the heavy lifting, and boy, did they. Against top teams like the Chicago Sky and Los Angeles Sparks, Clark wasn't just playing, she was putting on a masterclass, dropping triple doubles, hitting game winners, and making her doubters rethink their entire life choices. At this point, her highlight reel probably has its own fan club. Soon enough, Molly Karam had a bit of a change of heart, maybe after seeing Clark turn defenders into traffic cones. Karam started walking back her earlier comments, suddenly claiming she never really doubted Clark's talent. In fact, she even began praising her as one of the best players in the league. Quite the 180, huh? It's like complimenting someone's cooking after you just told them their food tastes like cardboard. While it's nice that Karam eventually acknowledged Clark's talent, the sudden flip-flop raised some eyebrows. Was her initial critique ever based on Clark's abilities, or was it something else entirely? This isn't just about Karam, though. It's part of a larger issue in sports media, especially when it comes to women's sports. Analysts are sometimes too quick to throw out bold opinions without really understanding the game or the players involved. In Clark's case, the early dismissal was not only unfair, but also exposed a bigger problem in how female athletes are often covered. Maybe next time, we could let the player play before jumping to conclusions. Frequent flip-flopping in analysis not only throws the players under the bus, but also torpedoes the league's credibility. When media personalities change their minds as often as they change outfits, it makes everything feel shaky and unreliable. Fans start to wonder if these analysts know the game or if they're just,
Yeah, Molly, what's up? You're sitting up because here's where I'm at, Molly. Where all the ladies at?
winging it to stir up drama. It's like trying to trust a weather forecast that predicts sunshine one minute and a hurricane the next. It just doesn't feel solid. And for a league like the WNBA, still battling for the recognition it rightfully deserves, this kind of roller coaster commentary isn't just annoying, it's downright harmful. Ill-informed hot takes are the sports version of junk food, bad for everyone involved and leaves you questioning your choices. Take Caitlin Clark, for example. Here's a player busting her tail to raise the level of competition and win over fans, only to have analysts constantly switch up their views. 1 minute she's being hailed as a future legend, and the next she's being reduced to a flashy gimmick. It's like watching someone flip through TV channels too fast. Nobody knows what's really going on. No wonder fans are confused. Molly Karam's recent comments are a prime example of this. Analysts have a huge role in shaping public perception, especially in a league like the WNBA, where mainstream attention is still a work in progress. When your league is already fighting for every ounce of recognition,
players in the world, there is an inherent and undeniable curve.
You can't afford to have wishy-washy commentary leading people astray. And when a big name like Karam drops bold, baseless claims about a player like Clark, it does real damage. Casual fans may walk away thinking, oh, so she's just a marketing gimmick, not a real player. They might skip watching her play or supporting the league altogether. That's why it's crucial for analysts to actually do their homework and deliver solid, consistent takes. And hey, maybe just stick to one opinion for longer than a hot minute, okay? Switching from Clark is a joke to Clark is the best thing since sliced bread within days is enough to make fans' heads spin faster than a basketball on a fingertip.
Now we just have to have people because of marketing and their attention, and they're not as talented. We're not putting the best team out.
Then there's Cheryl Swoops, legend in her own right, who's also taken some heat for not exactly embracing Clark's achievements. Some folks are even speculating that jealousy might be in play. While no one can read minds, thankfully, it's clear that some former players and analysts feel a bit uneasy giving Clark the praise she's earned. Maybe it's just hard to hand over the spotlight, or maybe it's something else. Either way, this kind of reluctance only adds to the mess. Can't we just enjoy the game and give credit where it's due without turning everything into a soap opera? Clark's rookie season in the WNBA has been nothing short of mind-blowing. She's managed to pull off feats that most players only dream about, and she's just getting started. While Cheryl is still cheering loudly for Angel Reese to snag Rookie of the Year, fans are practically shouting, "It's Clark's world, and we're just living in it." Seriously though, Clark's knack for racking up triple-doubles and delivering game-changing performances has put her on a whole other level. She's not just breaking records, she's treating them like her personal playground. Even some of the WNBA's all-time greats are probably sitting back like, wait, I didn't even do that. No wonder there's a bit of tension. Clark's achievements have some folks feeling like their legacies might be slipping into the background. Despite the haters and skeptics, let's be real, Caitlin Clark's rookie season has been one for the history books. The way she's come into the league and immediately started dominating is like watching someone hit a home run in their first ever at-bat. Except it's basketball, and she's scoring triple-doubles. Clark's stats are so jaw-dropping.
Take Molly Karam, for instance. She's not just throwing shade, she's raising some serious points.
You almost need a calculator just to keep up. And the fact that she's doing all of this while practically carrying the Indiana Fever, a team that's been struggling like a car running on fumes, is beyond impressive. She's not just playing basketball, she's putting on a show. Fans can't get enough. And honestly, even her critics probably have to admit she's already on her way to becoming one of the best players in the WNBA. It's like the league gave her the rookie handbook, and she decided to rewrite it for fun. And that's a wrap, folks. Caitlin Clark is showing the world what it really means to be a baller, and no amount of media noise can take away from the undeniable talent she brings to the WNBA. Whether you agree or disagree with the drama surrounding her, one thing's for sure. She's changing the game for the better. What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with all the latest in the WNBA and more. Catch you in the next one.